Hi class, this is Dr. Selby here, and I want to go through how to solve a limiting reactant problem such as this one, where we're given a chemical equation and we're given in this problem 5 moles of ions mixed with 4 moles of O2, and we are asked what is the limiting reactant. So we're given 2 different amounts of reactants. But before I go through this problem, I briefly want to review a couple things that we should know. So first, what do the coefficients mean in this balanced chemical equation? And what do I mean by coefficients? So this 4 here, and this 3 here, and this 2 here, those are coefficients in this balanced chemical equation. And what they mean is they give the number ratios of reactants and products. And those number ratios can be interpreted different ways. For example, on the microscopic level, you could read the equation above as 4 atoms of iron reacts with 3, this should say molecules of O2 to produce 2 formula units of iron 3 oxide. That's not very useful for us because when we're performing chemical reactions in the lab, we need measurable amounts. We're not actually counting atoms. So we usually use the macroscopic version of how we would read this equation, and that would be 4 moles of iron reacts with 3 moles of oxygen to produce 2 moles of iron 3 oxide. And in our equation, we're given that kind of macroscopic scale anyway, is we're giving moles and moles. So now I think we're ready to move on and solve this problem. So the steps to solving this problem is whenever you're given 2 different amounts in a chemical reaction, and it's a limiting reactant problem. And so we want to convert reactant 1 or the iron into a product amount using those mole ratios in the balanced chemical equation. Then we're going to convert reactant 2, so the number of moles of O2 into a product amount. And then we're going to compare the amounts of product given from each reactant from our calculations in steps 1 and 2. And the calculation in steps 1 and 2, or the reactant that gave the smallest amount of product, that reactant would be our limiting reactant. So let's get started. I am going to start with 5 moles of iron. And so we're given 5 moles of iron. And I want to convert that into a product amount. I want moles of iron to cancel, so it's going to go on the bottom. And I want to be left with the moles of the product, which is our iron 3 oxide. So moles of Fe2O3. Okay, and then I'm just going to put the correct numerical values in my conversion factor using those mole ratios from the balanced chemical equation. So we have a 4 here, so that goes in front of moles of Fe. And we have a 2 here, that goes in front of the moles of iron 3 oxide. And then we just punch that in our calculator and it would look something like this. 5 times 2 divided by 4, and that equals 2.5 moles of our product, which is Fe2O3. Notice that these units cancel. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2 is convert reactant 2 into product amount. And so I was given 4 moles of the oxygen. So I'll start with that given. 4.0 mole O2. I want to convert those moles of O2 into moles of product. So moles of O2 goes on the bottom, so it cancels. And then the moles of the product goes on top. Moles of iron 3 oxide, Fe2O3. Note, then we're going to put our numerical values in front of them. They come from the balanced chemical equation. So we have a 3 goes in front of moles O2. And then we have a 2 that goes in front of the moles of the iron 3 oxide, so 2 there. How this looks when we try to punch this in our calculator is we're putting in 4 times 2, then divided by 3, and that just equals 2.66, or we can round to 2.7 moles. Of Fe2O3. Okay, so we've completed step 2. Now we compare which one gives us the smaller amount. Well, this is a smaller amount of product. And so what that means is that the Fe, the iron, is the limiting reactant. Some other things we could say from this problem that wasn't asked is we could say that the oxygen is the excess reactant. And then we could also say that the maximum amount of iron 3 oxide that can be produced when we mix 5 moles of iron with 4 moles of O2 is the 2.5 moles of iron 3 oxide. That is the end of this example. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you and have a great day.